Reforms to family justice in England and Wales come into force today, which the government says will place the welfare of children at the centre of the system. The measures include tough new time limits for cases where children are removed from their parents and taken into care. There'll be a new family court, and separating couples will have to attend a mediation awareness session before taking disputes over their finances or their children to court. These are changes welcomed by Sheila Gooderham, who's a lawyer and mediation expert.
It's very significant, but it must be to bear on in mind that in 2011 the courts did introduce mediation information and assessment meetings and asked all applicants to attend. However, today it's going to be compulsory to attend a mediation information and assessment meeting.
Would you say that mediation element of these reforms is the most important factor here?
It is, because when people come to find out about mediation, 9 times out of 10 they realise that this is the best way forward for them and their families, because when people separate they have an incredible strain on their budgets. For instance, we're trying to make 2 homes out of 1. We're trying to make arrangements for children to spend time with both parents, and the court process is very, very slow, and if you involve lawyers throughout that process it can be very expensive, just at a time when you really need to make swift and good decisions, but also cost-effective decisions.
And a final word as to cost. Obviously, at a time of divorce, of separation, there are many expenses. How expensive can mediation, the process of mediation, be? Mediation
can be several £1,000s or a few £100s, depending upon the dispute in hand and how much effort and the mediator needs to put in to help in the dispute. So we could have one meeting. I've mediated clients for one meeting and made phenomenal progress in one meeting. I've had other people that need multiple meetings. But it's important to bear in mind that the cost of litigation, that's instructing 2 solicitors through a court process, can cost tens of thousands of pounds. And my worst situation I've ever come across was a couple who spent £200,000 in litigation, had a court order, weren't happy with the order, and then came for mediation for an appeal. So mediation does have a cost, but it's significantly less than litigation with lawyers involved.
That's a lawyer's perspective from Sheila Gooderham. Well, Natasha Britton has been through a divorce and she went through mediation as well. She's written a blog called divorcegoddess.com.
Mediation, it was a very good course of action for my ex-husband and I, and we felt it was a very positive experience going through our divorce.
What encouragement was there up to now to actually get involved in some sort of mediation before disputes reached court level?
We weren't recommended mediation by anybody except for friends who had also been through it, and they suggested that we found solicitors who supported mediation, and as a result we contacted local mediators through our solicitors.
Did you think mediation was there to try and help you repair your relationship, or was it about having, if such things can be, a healthy, a good, a constructive division?
Yeah, definitely the latter. There was, I think, when you get to the mediation table, there is that moment when, because you're there, you understand that actually you want to have a good, positive and amicable divorce for you, your children, and your wider circle of friends and family.
How messy can things get? You've been writing this blog. You'll have come across people where perhaps a split hasn't been as amicable as yours was.
Yeah, and obviously that's always going to be the case, because life is just not that simple sometimes. I think mediation may help couples who are going through a particularly unpleasant divorce to maybe look at things in a more positive light with regard to children, and certainly the rest of their lives, and sort of moving on from it.
You're a parent of 2 children yourself. There's now going to be this maximum 26-week time limit for completing care and supervision cases. Again, that's about as painful an element as any divorce can involve.
Yeah, I think I think obviously time is quite important, and our mediation, due to sort of geographical separation, took longer, and we were quite mindful to move things on when we were in mediation. I think sometimes when mediation and divorce proceedings can go on for a long time, I think that perhaps gives cause for extra stress as well. So I think on balance, it's a good thing.
That's Natasha Britton, whose blog is divorcegoddess.com. 10 minutes.